Let me tell you something most people don't realize. Your dream, your vision, that fire burning in your chest is not meant for everybody to understand, and that's okay. See, too many of us make the mistake of announcing the vision before it's ready. Setbacks. You get a glimpse of something powerful, something that could change your life. And the first thing you do is run to your friends, your family, social media, and you start broadcasting what's coming. But let me ask you, who told you they deserve to hear it? Your vision is sacred, not setbacks. It's fragile in the beginning. It's like a seed. And you don't pull a seed out of the ground every 5 minutes to show people it's growing. You water it, you protect it, you nurture it in silence. Because when you speak too soon, when you open your mouth to people who don't have your hunger, your discipline, your fire, they'll kill it before it's born. Not because they're evil, not because they hate you, but because they can't see what you see. They don't feel what you feel. You've been given a glimpse into a future that doesn't exist yet. That makes you different. That makes you chosen, not setbacks. But being chosen comes with responsibility. It means you carry something that hasn't been explained to the world yet. And the worst thing you can do is let small-minded people talk you out of a big God-given vision. I remember a time when I had nothing but the dream. No money, no platform, no applause, just the fire. And I kept it to myself, not because I was afraid, but because I understood it was still forming, still maturing. Some of you are out here showing your dream off like it's already finished. And the enemy loves that. Not setbacks, because if he can get you to talk more than you work, you'll sabotage your own momentum. You'll start believing that attention is progress. That applause is growth. And it's not. The early stages of your vision aren't for validation. They're for preparation. You've got to prepare in the dark, work when no one's clapping, train when nobody's watching, cry when nobody knows the weight you're carrying. Because when the time is right, your vision will speak for itself. You won't have to explain it. You won't have to defend it. The results will say everything that needs to be said, not setbacks. But you got to stop letting everybody in on the process. Not everyone in your circle is in your corner. Some folks are just close enough to see what you're doing so they can copy it or kill it. And it's your job to guard your space. You need discernment. You need wisdom. Some of y'all are frustrated, not because the dream isn't working, but because you invited too many people in a space they were never qualified to be in. You're entertaining opinions that aren't invested. That's a problem. And here's the truth. The more you expose your vision too early, the more vulnerable it becomes. You open it up to doubt. You open it up to fear. You open it up to comparison. And suddenly you start shrinking the dream to make other people comfortable. You start editing it so it doesn't sound too big. You start settling because you don't want to look crazy. And now you've got a watered down version of what was supposed to change the world. All because you couldn't keep it quiet. Silence is your ally when you're building. Let people assume you're not doing anything. Let them think you've disappeared. Good. Let them sleep on you. Because when you reappear, when the vision is ready, they won't be able to ignore it. See, not setbacks. Silence doesn't mean you're inactive. It means you're intentional and you're working so deep, so focused that distractions can't reach you. I need you to get this in your spirit. You don't owe anyone an explanation for what you're building. You don't have to convince people of your greatness. You don't have to justify your grind. If they can't see it, that's fine. It's not their vision, it's yours. So protect it, nurture it, let it grow in the dark, let it breathe before you expose it to the air of opinions. The lewdest thing about you shouldn't be your talk. It should be your results. You don't need to tell them you're coming. Just show up, built, strong, ready. And when you walk in the room, the vision will speak. The discipline will speak. The character, the sacrifice, the focus, that's the language of destiny. That's what makes people listen. Never forget, your vision doesn't need approval. It just needs action. So guard it like your life depends on it, because it does. You ever been through something so painful that it left a mark on your soul? I'm talking about the kind of pain that wakes you up at night, the kind of hurt that makes you question everything, your worth, your purpose, your future. Yeah, that kind of pain. But let me tell you something. That pain wasn't random. That pain was preparation. That pain didn't come to destroy you. It came to build something in you that nothing else could. It came to give you a level of strength, a level of insight, a level of resilience that you couldn't get comfort. But here's the catching: that pain is yours. That story is yours, and you don't owe it to everybody. See, everybody loves to say, share your story. But the truth is, not every part of your story is for public consumption. Some chapters are sacred. Some pages are written in tears and blood and sleepless nights. And you can't give those pages away to people who don't value the cost. You can't hand over your scars to people who only want entertainment, because there are folks out here who don't want healing for you. They want gossip. They want fuel for their opinions, not truth for their own transformation. You've got to protect what you've been through, not because you're ashamed of it, but because it's powerful. And when something is powerful, you don't just hand it out recklessly. You don't just give it to anybody. Your pain, your real pain, it birthed wisdom, and wisdom is expensive. You don't give expensive things to people who treat them like trash. I know some of y'all out here thinking, but I want people to know what I've been through. I get it. But before you share the pain, make sure it's healed. Because if you speak from the wound instead of the scar, it bleeds on everything. It distorts your message. It turns a testimony into a cry for help. And people won't know whether to be inspired or to rescue you. Not setbacks. You've got to own your story without being enslaved by it. You've got to use your pain, not be used by it. That means you decide what gets revealed. You decide what gets protected. You decide when and how to speak on it. You are not obligated to relive your trauma for anybody's curiosity. That's not healing. That's exposure, not setbacks. And here's the deeper part. Sometimes your pain was the very thing that made you. It gave you your voice. It gave your edge. It gave your drive. But now you're trying to explain that to people who didn't walk through the fire with you. They don't understand the nights you cried alone. They don't know what it took for you to keep going when everything around you said quit. And because they don't know, they'll minimize it. They'll question it. Setbacks. They'll dissect it like it's a puzzle instead of respecting it like it's sacred ground. You went through what you went through for a reason. Setbacks. And now that you've come out on the other side, don't throw your pearls to people who don't even recognize their value. Stop looking for sympathy and start walking in power. What happened to you doesn't define you, but it did refine you. It sharpened you. It matured you. And now that it has, you don't need to keep revisiting the pit. You're not there anymore. People think being vulnerable means putting everything on the table. No, being vulnerable means being real, not setbacks. But being real doesn't mean being reckless. There's a difference between transparency and wisdom, not setbacks. You don't have to post your pain to prove your strength. You don't have to document your healing for it to be valid. Some of your best work will be done in private. Some of your deepest healing will happen in silence. And hear me, when you do choose to share your pain, make sure it's coming from the scar. Make sure you're standing on it, not still buried under it, because that's when it becomes powerful. That setback's when it becomes medicine for someone else, not a wound they get infected by, but a light that helps guide them out of their own darkness. So many people want to inspire others, but haven't processed their own hurt. That's dangerous. Because when you haven't processed, you project, you bleak, you bleed. And the truth is, you can't lead people out of something you're still lost in. You've got to get whole first. You've got to build yourself up from the inside before you try to lift someone else. And once you're solid, once your roots are deep, you can speak from a place of authority, not just emotion, but experience turned into wisdom. Never feel pressured to explain your pain to people who haven't earned the right to hear it. Your past is not a public exhibit. It's the blueprint that helped you build your strength. And not everybody gets access to that blueprint. So guard your scars, not because they make you weak. But let me tell you something most people don't get. You don't need to broadcast strategy. Too many people are out here giving away the playbook before they've even played the game. They're showing the blueprint to people who haven't earned the right to see it. And then they wonder why nothing's working. They wonder why doors keep closing, why people start switching up, why the energy around them changes. It's because they gave too much, too soon, to the wrong ones. You don't need to talk about the grind. Just grind. You don't need to explain your plan. Just execute it. Because the truth is, people don't really care about your strategy. They care about your results. They'll cheer for you when it's done, but most won't believe in it when it's just an idea. And if you're out here revealing everything, how you move, when you move, where you're going, what your next step is, you're leaving yourself wide open to imitation, wide open to sabotage, wide open to distraction. Some of y'all are stuck, not because your plan doesn't work, but because too many people know about it. You've invited too many voices into your head, too many opinions into your space. Now you're second guessing you were once confident about. That clarity you had in the quiet is now clouded by noise, setbacks. And here's what I'm saying, your strategy is sacred. Don't hand it out like candy. I learned this the hard way, not setbacks. I used to tell everybody what I was working on, thinking they'd be inspired, thinking they'd support it. But what I found out was this: some people are only in your life to slow you down. They'll smile in your face and cheer for your failure. They'll act like they're on your side. But the moment they know your next step, they'll work twice as hard to block it. You can't afford to be that careless with your vision. You've worked too hard. You've come too far. This isn't just about protecting ideas. It's about protecting destiny. And destiny requires discipline. Discipline to keep quiet. Discipline to keep building in silence. Discipline to keep showing up, doing the work, and letting the results speak for you. You think the most successful people out here are walking around announcing everything they're doing. No, they move different. They move with precision. They move with intention. They understand that real power is quiet. Real strength is controlled. Real strategy is invisible until it becomes undeniable. You don't need to defend your grind. You don't need to validate your moves. You don't need to convince anyone of what you're doing. Let your work be the evidence. Let your results be the conversation, not setbacks. While they're talking, you're building. While they're guessing, you're growing. While they're sleeping, you're putting in the hours that nobody sees. And when the breakthrough comes, and it will come, it'll be too late for the doubters, too late for the imitators, too late for the haters. Because by the time they see it, it's already done. It's already built. It's already unstoppable. You've got to be okay with people not knowing what you're up to. You've got to be okay with being misunderstood. You've got to be okay with walking alone. That silence, that isolation, that's not punishment. That's positioning. That's preparation. That's the space where strategies grow into systems and visions grow into victories, not setbacks. I'm talking to the person who's been second guessing the decision to stay quiet. The person who feels like they need to prove something. You don't. You don't owe the world your strategy. You owe it to yourself to protect your path, to protect your energy, to protect the thing that's going to change your life and the lives of everybody connected to you. So stop posting every move. Stop explaining every step. Stop needing permission to go after what's already yours. Get in the lab. Get in the zone. Get in the mindset that says, I don't need to be seen right now. I need to be ready when it's time to be seen. Because the day is coming when they won't be able to ignore what you've built. Everybody wants to be great, not setbacks, but not everybody understands the power of silence. See, it's not just about working hard. It's about how you move while you're working. And let me tell you something that most people missed. Your next move is nobody's business. Stop announcing your plans like you need applause to stay committed. You don't need validation. You need discipline. You need focus. You need to know when to speak and when to keep your mouth shut. We